Hello everybody, welcome to your Good Vibrations reading for the week of September 10th, 2017. So, the Earth is going through a lot right now. We have drastic weather going on and crazy times in politics, and this week has been particularly a triggering week. I've noticed it in my physical health. My spine's been bugging me, and I kind of get quickly triggered on things when I normally have just a real pretty calm, steady state. And I'm seeing this with a lot of people, and our weather is indicative of it. There's a lot stirred up. So as always, I want to bring you good vibrations. I want us to feel always like we can reach a place of inner harmony and balance and serenity, no matter what is going on in our life. It is always available to us. And to try to not get wrapped up in the human dramas of life. That's always my goal, and I personally try to live that truth. And just for my own sake, and then if it's helpful to other people, what I've gone through, then that's great. That's icing on the cake for me. But I really want that for all of us, that we can find an inner place of serenity, no matter what, no matter what's going on, no matter how threatened or vulnerable we might feel. This is just life on earth. There is, as I keep saying in many circles, there's rub in so much of our lives. There's this, little sense of two very unique fingerprints coming together and creating this friction. And that can be with other people, that can be with feelings within ourselves, that can be things like weather that challenge us, that can be health problems, you name it. And there is great value in the rub because it helps us to get a little more clear on who we are and what we stand for and what we believe. And that is what makes us unique. So, this week we were given the Sabian symbol for Libra 9, and it reads, 3 old masters hanging on the wall of a special room in an art gallery. So right away from that symbol you get a sense of peace and quiet, this serenity, and a sense of the masterfulness when it comes to beautiful things such as artwork. People pour themselves into their art, and it is a very special expression of the soulfulness of an individual. So I feel that we're being called to that place of the quiet art gallery where everybody just instantly hushes their tone, much like going into a library. We're instantly called to come to a place of inner serenity and to call forth those masterful parts of us from within our soul to bring about greater serenity and grace and peace. So, 3 old masters, and I wrote in my Facebook description about this symbol. Some people look at things come in threes as a bad sign, and then some people think that's a good omen. And I'm always going to fall on the side of it being a good omen, because I'm here to bring good vibrations, even in times that are tough. I'm not a person that I'm saying to put a smile on even though your life is totally falling apart. But I am saying that there's more options in how you can look at a situation that can literally make you feel better. And that's really all that counts. If you feel better, your vibration, the radio signal that you're putting out, is going to then bring things to you that make you feel better. It matters what you choose in how it makes you feel. So your life can be falling apart, or you might have Hurricane Irma hurtling towards your home in Florida. And my heart is with all of you people. I'm thinking of all the people who are affected. and how scary and vulnerable that must make you feel. And I've never been in that situation, but I've certainly been through something very similar with my health. And so it's okay that you feel the vulnerable sense, but don't you also get a sense of how people pull together and want to help each other and want to support, do whatever they can to support those who are in need. And that certainly was true for me in my journey as well, and continues to be. I have an amazing support system. And so this is what I'm saying of not necessarily putting on the sunshiny glasses about everything, which tends to get a bad rap by a lot of people. Like, what are you talking about? Can I ever feel sad or angry? Of course you can. Of course you can. But if that is a sustained pattern of feeling and emotion, just remember, it's always your choice. And you are this big bubble of energy. It's a huge sphere around you. And it emanates just like a radio tower. It emanates a vibration. And so I'm just saying, the vibration brings more things like it to it, because we live in this magnetic universe. It is what it is. That is a law. We live in this kind of a universe. So if you're focused in a way where you can somehow see the gifts out of very difficult, vulnerable, scary situations, or times that make you angry, sad, depressed, frustrated, if you can use that as a trigger for yourself to say, wait a minute, there's something here for me. Because at other times when you're feeling good, you're emanating that vibe, and so you are in alignment with soul at that point. It feels easy. Lately I've been calling that the butter moments of life. Things just flow along. But when we are triggered and feel these sort of lower vibe feelings, which are totally natural and human to feel that, all I'm inviting for you is to remember, I'm a radio tower and I'm emitting a signal, and I want things to get better. So how can I begin to get better with this situation that I'm in right now? And oftentimes it's really simple things, such as getting simple about things, one step at a time. I'm taking this moment, becoming very present, and I'm just here right now, and I feel really, really good in my body, and I feel so grateful for everything that I have and everything I've accomplished. And you get this wave of gratitude that flows across you, and right there, that is enough to switch your vibration. You have just switched the tide. You are now going downstream versus trying to swim upstream, which feels very difficult, and you feel like you have to work at it. So oftentimes getting really present is one strategy that really works. Definitely taking a minute to get a true bird's eye view of your life and see how much is going right versus how much you think is going wrong. And using your beautiful brain along with your heart to tap into what is the gift behind a really difficult situation. Because at the end of our lives, very likely, the harder the situation, the more vulnerable, the more scared you feel, those are the moments you're going to remember when you're reviewing everything that your life has been. And may we all be gifted with that opportunity. When you look back, those are the memories that you will have. I remember when I went through that, and that I emerged a different person, changed in some way, and most often for the better. I would say nearly always for the better, because the change came about because you were ready for it, and because you were ready to grow, to expand beyond where you were in that moment. You were ready to break into another level, and that requires some rub for us to get there, because we need the extra horsepower in our energy, which gets really stirred up when we have things that make us feel vulnerable, scared, make us feel like our options are limited. We get angry, like, no, I'm not allowing that to happen. So the cards this week tap into what these 3 old masters are for you. And I was only called to do 2 selections this week. I'm going to try to keep the reading a little shorter. Last week was super long, and I feel for those of you who slogged through that. I really want to keep it more brief because I want to pay credence to the masters. And I feel a sense, as I've been saying here, a sense of simplicity and trying to get as present as we can and not get whipped up with all that the media and the Weather Channel and what everybody is talking about, talk. It's so healthy to disengage and to just say, all right, right here, right now, where am I at? Because that is the best job, that is the best offering that you can make to everybody else on this planet, is you getting as clear and focused and high vibe, good vibrations as you can be. That helps everybody. And I don't expect us all to totally grasp that because it's kind of a difficult concept. But energetically, that's what's happening. And we can really help each other the better we feel as individual human beings, and not getting whipped up into a series of dramas and fear and sadness and despair. Those are always going to live on planet Earth, but it is your choice how much you choose to dedicate of your sacred energy, what you're here to help bring to all of us as this magical grandma's quilt that all comes together. It matters. What does your square look like? What are you offering? And yes, you will have dip times, but what I'm saying is you have the choice of being in an up time too. It doesn't always have to live in this drama-filled space and having so many waves like this. You can come to a place where it's a little more gentle dips and rises, and life just begins to feel more tranquil and not quite as drama-filled, drastic up and downs. So each card set will offer your three masters that want to come forward. All right. So I have a card, from the chosen deck for the week. Both of the cards have a wisdom card from Louise Hay, and who just passed on recently. So I feel like she's with us here and wanting a voice in this because she sees fully from the other side of the veil. And then each one has a crystal. So those are the three masters. All right, let's get grooving. First card up is from the Healing with the Fairies deck by Doreen Virtue. I have not looked at these, so higher consciousness. Again, we're talking about the three masters within the depths of your soul. This is an inside job. This is you tapping into your own toolkit, not looking outside of you for somebody to make you happy or for circumstances to make you happy. This is three old masters hanging on the wall of a special room in an art gallery. I want you to consider your physical body the art gallery. And within that physical form, there is a wall on which these three masterful creations are hanging for you. So it's the combination of higher consciousness. This just says, challenge yourself to think about more than in what is right in front of your eyes. What is right in front of your eyes is kindergarten level living. That's the way your team's bringing it through. It's that's a little harsher message than I would like to give, but that's the way it's coming. There is so much more. When you begin to embrace that there is a magical side of life, and you begin to see that there are signs and symbols that come across your path to try to raise you up, to try to get you to see there's more happening here than just what is right in front of us, that's when you start to shift the vibration, as I was talking about with us being a radio tower. One of your masterful points that wants to be seen is this idea that there is more going on than meets the eye. That's higher consciousness. And it is challenging. You notice in this card there are 4 stars in particular. And we've had this card recently in another reading. And the way I'm seeing this with the 4 stars for this one is the energy of Gemini, okay, of the zodiac. So that is an air sign. It has to do with our mentality. And this is where our beautiful brain, we're so well equipped with this in our life. Our beautiful brain can be helpful in allowing us to look into, to be curious. That is Gemini energy, endlessly curious. And being curious not just through learning, the typical ways we think of learning, like in a classroom, taking a course, a workshop, but Gemini really loves to talk. Talk. And even talking to the self or being curious and talking to others. What I'm getting here is a sense of one of your masterful points is about the sense of embracing your curiosity and talking to people and getting their viewpoint on things and really listening. Gemini is not always great about listening because they tend to want to they get bored easily. So taking the time to listen, but taking in different viewpoints because it adds to your experience. It adds to your options. And you get out of this what your team is calling kindergarten living. Like, what? That's all you're looking at? That's all you're looking at? And there's just so much more. They're wanting so much more. Okay? So curiosity, that's what I get as one of your masterful points that wants to come forward to help bring you greater serenity and peace and tranquility in times when we feel challenged. Your wisdom card is, my income is constantly increasing. And the other side of this says, I'll show it to you in a minute, money is energy and an exchange of services. How much I have depends on what I believe I deserve. So can you see that this is that law of attraction? This is that magnetic universe at play, particularly bringing up finances. So if you feel how much I have depends on what I believe I deserve. So if you believe yourself to be abundant, and this could for some of you be directly related to money, but the focus of this reading is something like an inner talent, that inner mastery that you have within you. And remember, money is kindergarten living. That is a thing of earth. But there is way more to life than just money. Money is an energetic vibration of what you value. So this brings in the energy of Taurus, which is about really enjoying the fine things of life. It is about getting really present right here, right now, and seeing how much you have available to you. That's what I get out of this card. And knowing that when you've wanted something, and that could be a relationship, that when you've wanted something that you hold as valuable in your mind, how did you go about getting that? You know, did you sit and ponder it and imagine yourself with it, and therefore imagining yourself deserving of having it? Because you also need to value serenity and peace and tranquility as something that you deserve. Again, I'm not drawn to say that this card is about my income is constantly increasing and it shows a whole bunch of material things. This reading this week is going beyond that. It's pointing out, don't let money be the major driver for you. The major driver is, what do you truly value that is beyond the material, that is beyond the having of the jewelry or the car or the house or a piece of clothing? What What do you hold valuable? And this is a point of mastery, along with curiosity and listening, soaking in multiple viewpoints, really listening, seeing what you're drawn to. That was the first one. This one is about what do you value? And I want you to go deeper than money. I can very clearly feel that. It's got to be deeper than money because money is kindergarten living. They're being very direct. What do you value? Do you value the sense of security? That is related to money, but it's a deeper. Can you feel it goes deeper? I value things that bring me comfort. Or I value things that give me a richness to look upon with my eyes or to taste with my mouth. Taurus energy, I do feel with this, like your first card was Gemini, this is Taurus. Taurus is all about a richness, and it does point to what you value. It's taking in through the senses. So when you're feeling vulnerable, sad, angry, scared, any of those things, it's really valuable to begin to focus on what is it that I can take in through my senses that, by the way, I already have, and finding contentment in the now moment. You're getting much simpler. And also it has to do with purging out too, that maybe there's a lot of material kinds of things that you have accumulated over time, and energetically that really crowds up your space where you live, or if it's in your workplace, whatever. Paying attention to not being too clogged up in the spaces where you spend a lot of time, and cleaning out. That's related to this too. And Taurus does like very clean energy, very earth-based. The essence, the highest vibration of Taurus would just be sitting out here in this chair, bare feet on the ground, just taking it all in and noticing and just savoring nature. That is the high vibe of Taurus. A really kind of lower end, which is not helpful to you to keep your balance, is getting too fixated on the material and by the way, getting too fixated, overly fixated on security and needing everything to be stable and everything to be perfect, because that's really hard to maintain. It's hard to sustain. Okay? Then your crystal. This is apophyllite. This is known to me as the revealer because it's probably hard to see in here, but there are a ton of facets within this piece. That's what I know to be true about this type of piece. And I love that it's a pyramid. There's the 3 again, 3 points. And within it, again, it's hard to see, but what I'm seeing is all these triangular structures. And so the revealer is part of my water team, so this is your emotional self. Another point of mastery for you is understanding that you always have available to you multiple viewpoints to consider from an emotional standpoint. That's another point of mastery, your third point of mastery. So we have curiosity and listening, soaking up lots of other viewpoints. But that's about engaging your brain. I want to learn about this stuff. Number 2 is this Taurus kind of energy, is the sense of, noticing and paying attention to what you value and going beyond money and things needing to bring you comfort, and realizing that what you truly value, you actually already have in your life in some way, shape, or form. But you have to bring awareness to it rather than continuing to fill up your house or your place of work or wherever with more stuff to make you happy. The happiness, remember, comes from within, and it has to do with what you value. What brings you a sense of happiness that you think material things can bring, but then strangely when you get them, they kind of lose their shine after a while, don't they? And then you start going back to simpler things. That's another mastery point. And this is saying, from an emotional standpoint, consider that there are multiple viewpoints, multiple emotional responses that you can consider. That is what this crystal is all about, from my perspective, when I tap in with it. Known as the revealer. This is, new. Anytime there is this rub that I said in the intro, we have an option. We have the opportunity. It is like the door has opened and you see this crystal sitting in front of you, and all of a sudden you can look in this crystal and you can see that scenario playing out in so many different ways based on your emotional response to it. And you can watch when you put a certain emotion out at it, all of a sudden the scenario changes in some way. So we have the option to slow it down, get simple, get present before we react, and emotionally figure out, what are my options here? And given you've already got information to work from the other two masters I just mentioned. You've soaked up information from listening to others and weighing out for yourself with a truly balanced mind. What part of that maybe would serve me? Or is it some slight tweak of that viewpoint that it might be useful to me? That's your mind. What is valuable to me? That's your heart. That is your heart. That's the second piece. And then this is saying emotionally, when you engage the heart and you have outward momentum, outward action with the heart, what is it that comes up emotionally? What options do you have emotionally? That is a power that you have. That is a master skill that is available, that can be very helpful to you in keeping your calm and your tranquility and peace. Okay, so that was set 1. Set number 2 is the Angel Tarot deck. I have not looked at these. And you have a Major Arcana card. These are the big ones. These are the big steps along the journey of the Fool, or who I like to call the Free Spirit in the Tarot. You have the Moon. So beautiful and very misunderstood. The Tarot, when this comes up in readings, when I've been watching different card readers, they always mention fear first. And I don't see that. It's probably because I have the Moon at the top of my astrological chart. So I don't have this fear response immediately. It takes a lot to get me super fearful. Important psychic insights, events behind the scenes, release fears that hold you back. So fear is a part of this card. But remember, we're talking about an inner mastery point for you. And the thing is what you may not realize is that when an event occurs that brings you a sense of vulnerability or fear, that word, or any of those kind of lower vibe feelings that really bring us down, depression, frustration, being downright pissed off, any of that, you have an inner ability to look beneath that. This is the power of the Moon. The Moon lights up what is unseen. It lights up the dark. It is the emotional self. You have an ability to look beneath it, but you have to be aware that you have that ability. And everybody's got it to some degree, but some have it more than others. Some are very attuned to what's really happening. It's kind of like you could probably spot a bullshitter from 100 miles away. You could probably you don't quite believe what you're seeing and you're questioning. That's good, strong, potent Moon energy. It sees that there's something else going on here, and what you're seeing is probably not quite right, or not quite the whole picture. Like maybe you're just seeing a little pinhole of the story, or, are you getting what I'm saying? You can see, for you, the full moon is within you. It's one of these masterful points that's sitting on the wall that is the art gallery that is you in your physical body. And the full moon illuminates the landscape. It illuminates what is dark to everybody else and scary. You can actually bring a very steady presence, and I feel such a peace within me as I'm talking about this. You can bring such a sense of tranquility to situations that others may just fly off the handle about. And maybe you're a person, like in the work setting, that people tend to come to you and they tend to dump their stuff because you make them feel safe in doing so. And you are not necessarily easily whipped up into dramas. And that's a real skill that you need to bring out in times like this on the earth. Is bringing a sense of knowing that there is more going on than meets the eye. And therefore, I can't totally trust everything that I'm seeing. I can't totally buy into that hook, line, and sinker and say, yep, I'm adopting that story, and I'll pick up on that drama, and I'll get in that tornado with you. Sure. I don't feel you're that kind of person. And if you are that kind of person, your team is saying, but wait, this is mastery that you have sitting within you that is wanting to come out at times like this. Consider that there is more going on than you're seeing. And therefore, don't buy into the drama. You know more within you. You know there's, and it's enough, by the way, to know that there's more going on than meets the eye, and you don't have to figure all that out. Because it's hiding, it's probably not meant to be seen anyway. But the point is that you just can leave it like it is and not engage with it because it's not loaded with integrity. You're not on par with the wholeness of whatever that is, whatever is playing out. And we do always have the option to say, to be the observer of it, but to not engage with it. To be able to turn our back and to walk the other way. Or to stand and simply be an observer with almost an invisible wall between you and the situation or the other person, whatever it is. Any of this upset that's happening on the earth these days, we always have that option. We can put the wall down, and not to be that we won't be compassionate towards that person, but we don't have to be part of the tornado with them. We can very safely stand on our two legs in our very strong energy field, full of integrity and light. And that is the very best thing that we can do for anybody else who is going through something difficult. And it is the best thing we can do for ourselves when we're going through something difficult. Okay? So that's your mastery number 1. The wisdom card is, I'll show this in a second, I release other people's fears and limitations. I think my own loving thoughts. There's a kitty cat, 9 lives. I deserve only good in my life. The cat is all curled up. This has to do with what I was just saying. But so, because we have 3 mastery points, I want to dip into this further. I release other people's fears and limitations. I think my own loving thoughts. So like the first mastery point was about you knowing within you. There's more going on than I'm really seeing, and therefore I don't need to buy into that storyline because I don't know the whole story and I don't need to know the whole story. This one is saying, the wisdom card is saying that what I was getting to at the end of the first card is about you detaching. I think it's funny that the cat is so clearly focused for this card, and that's important. Cats are incredibly independent. That is their prime trait, I would say. And working with animals, that's what I've learned over many, many sessions at this point with cats, and with my own cats, they've taught me pretty well. Cats are they act independent, and they kind of shun their owner at times in order for the owner to find their own solace. That is what I've learned from cats in particular. Dogs are a different story, and horses are a whole other ball of wax, fabulous ball of wax. But cats are all about being independent of emotion. They don't mind giving you a little bit of their love and cradling into you at times. But have you experienced times with a cat, those that are cat lovers, where you so want to just hold them and you so want to pet them and you try to hold them and they're all squirmy and they're so not happy because they feel your unhappiness and they feel your need. That word need. And that is a nasty 4-letter word for a cat. They don't like that. If you are hurting and you're laying on the couch, let's say, and even if you're physically not feeling well, oftentimes that is when they'll hop up and lay with you because they know that you are in need, but you're not coming at it from a needy standpoint. The energy is different. Do you feel that? You're in a receiving mode when you're really not feeling well and you give in and allow yourself to lay on the couch or lay in bed and allow yourself healing and rest and respite. The cat feels that, and so they will come to you and they will gladly lay with you and they will gladly offer their comfort and healing. They're of course healers in their own right, but the thing is they don't seem to like it if you want to, grab onto them and like, yeah, you just need to make me feel better. You need to make me feel better. They get all squirmy. They hate that. And what they're trying to teach is this independence around emotion. They don't want you to need them. I need you. Because do you feel it's like you're putting your claws into them and you just want to stay hooked on, and they don't like that. So that the cats are coming forward as your second message here of mastery is for you to be very secure in your own emotional self, no matter what fears and limitations and dramas are playing out. Just like you totally can see that there's more to the picture. And it's okay that you don't know it all. That's the first point. This is about you being okay with right where you stand and what you believe and what you know to be true, and to not need that other person, let's say, or something out of a situation or something out of a material object. We're talking about the other, whatever that is causing this sense of turmoil and upset or depression or anger or sadness or frustration, any of that stuff. It has to do with the other. And to disengage, pull your claws out. Take a cue from the cats here. We need to not need. It's the difference of having a very close love relationship in your life and that partner feeling like, I need you. And like, it's like you're clommed onto them and like hanging from their clothes, almost pulling their clothes down and ripping them. Because I need you. And that energy feels so different than you being strong and secure in who you are and giving the whole of your love to that person and your compassion. It doesn't matter if it's a love relationship, a friend, a parent, a grandparent, a work colleague. It doesn't matter. It's the integrity of your emotional stance. And I'm feeling this need to sit up tall and like be proud of your own feelings and emotional response to things. And not need another or need a cue from another. You're really disengaging from that and you're standing strong in your own sense of knowing, okay? That's your second point. Your third point is my piece of fuchsite. This is known to me as Crystal Cave. This is from my air team. So this has to do with your mental capacity, your brain, your beautiful brain. And the crystal cave, for you, the piece that was mostly coming forward is it provides you always have access to this inner sanctuary. And because the moon is such a mastery point for you, and that illuminates that inside, you're not afraid to go within. And some of you may not know that, but from a mastery standpoint, when you have strong moon energy, as is indicated here, the dark becomes very light, and it becomes a place of exploration and fun, and like there's gems to be found. This is encouraging, going within your crystal cave, going within to say, yes, yes, I know these gems. I know these gems live within me. And seeing that time for self as being an important moment of, getting clear. Because think about it, when we take the time to either go on a silent walk by ourselves, or again, I've done this in a recent reading, I'm thinking about, because of the full moon coming up for you, about wintertime. And I'm looking really forward to wintertime. And there being this huge snowfall that's just happened, and you strap on your snowshoes, or your snowshoes, and you go out for a trek in the woods by the light of the full moon. I mean, that's the inner sanctuary feeling of the cave dweller, of the crystal cave. The glinting of the snow. This is the simplicity of quiet moments. This is a mastery point for you. This is how you find your tranquility and your balance within you, is trying to find those times. You don't have to be somebody that's like goes and meditates every day for an hour. You could spend 5 minutes in your bed when you first wake up and just get quiet and just, ask for one word that will bring you a sense of inner peace during your day. Everybody deserves an inner peace. And one word, sure enough, will occur to you. You might see it as an image, you might feel it, you might hear it. Whatever it is, it's all good. And whatever word comes up is all good. But gear it towards, how can I find a sense of inner peace? What is the access word that I can use to go into the crystal cave during my day today? Because that is very strong. It's a strong component of how you find your balanced vibe at any moment of your day, and it's always available for you. So finding time for quiet moments, that's your third component. Okay, everybody, there we go. So you know your 3 masters. So how will you use them this week to find that sense of peace and tranquility? And of course, I send my love and support and stability and serenity to those who may be in harm's way, and know that you too always have this ability to find a sense of calm within you using some of the tools described here. Have a good week.